by the way, has a new city manager, met him today. But Spring Hill, Brentwood, et cetera. And all around the discussion, they sort of take it and go around the table. Fortunately, we were close to last, and I got a lot of their information as they come around. And one of those was they had gone through a special census. And what it boils down to, each 1,000 increase in population will mean about 100,000, which Tom and I have already discussed, about 100,000 per year. But the figure that we'd run into, what it costs to get it done, is not the correct figure. You're looking at somewhere between 30 to 70,000 to get it done. If you hire a consulting firm to do it, you're going to pay the 70,000. But if you do it yourself and then get it certified, you can do it for around 30,000. You can do that with Board of Commissioners, Planning Commissioners, employees of the city, and save the city a lot of money that way. So that's some of the good information that I found out today as far as the special
the bottom,
census.
the bottom of the scale is 30,000.
Yeah, that's what
Bare minimum.
that's what it costs when you do it yourself. Let's see, was it Spring Hill, with the funds they had, they hired a consulting firm. Thompson Station, I think, that done theirs themselves. But Knowlesville had done it, Brentwood's done it. So, you know, it's very important, I think, that we need to proceed to do that in the future. And we can determine how we want to do it, you know, once Frank gets he was there today too, so he heard all this, so did the mayor. So, didn't come up about what part of it went to the street aid, but, you know, it's $100 per capita that you receive when you do special census. You've got, you know, 900 to 1,000 people increase, and you're looking at 90 to 100.
And does that lumped in, does that include the street aid?
Street aid is
It's separate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Those, I was
Which is about,
going off of their experience that they've already gone through.
it's
So
about $25 per 100.
So we send out like a postcard that people are to return, and then we have to follow up with those that don't return.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I'd like to follow up with them and just kind of get an itemized breakdown of those costs, because that's just, I don't know how we got that $5,000 figure.
I don't know either. You know,
Something from Nancy or something.
it was Nancy sent it back. You know, we've been looking into it, and I've been questioning everything I can, because back in 2006 when we done it, I don't remember what it cost or anything like that, and all I remember is voting to go forward with it. You know, so. But anytime you can increase your revenue, it might, you've got an investment up front, but your investment, after you get that done, then you're money in the bank after that. So, and the one thing that we have been looking at is the Caspian Hills apartments were not on the 2010 census. The annexation of the properties that come in on 100 were not in, plus the fact we got, you know, several more building permits and more families living here now. So I'm hoping if we do it, that it's anywhere from 800 to 1,000 population increase. You know, and it may not be something we'll do in this budget cycle, but maybe in the next budget we can go forward with it. And the longer we delay it a little bit, that these houses that we've already got building permits on in the last 4.5, 5 years, you know, that's that many more that we'll have.
Okay. Ready for the CFO report on current finances?
Yes. Our property taxes are in as at the end of February at 92%. And, we carried over the, collection period over to Monday, the following Monday, which I think was, March 2nd. But we didn't charge a penalty for that day, but we got in quite a bit that day, got us up to 94.9 as of March 2nd. Now, it's not in these numbers that day, but brought in almost 2% that Monday. But it came in 66,898 under what we projected. And like I said, the property taxes came in quite a bit. It was 73,561 under. So, but we did get some more in that Monday, and so that line item is not as bad a shape as it looks. And we have gotten in some through March as well. I'm seeing an upward trend in the local option in all the sales tax. We're still below projections, but the gap is closing. As of, if you look on 31620, we've got a projection of 130,000 and came in at 118. Which is about 11,829. So we're still at 69,001 below our projection, but I'm really thinking that gap, if we're a month behind in our projections, and the business continues to increase, I just don't feel like the business that's going on in Fairview from the end of the holiday season is like from January on is less than what it was in October. I feel like it's at least stable or more than it was pre-November. So I feel like going forward, we've got a good chance of beating the numbers we had before October. Sorry about that, Commissioner Vassell. I thought those were all handed out. I'm sorry. Also, all of the sales tax numbers took a little bit of a boost, but like I said, we're still behind. We did have a big jump in state sales tax, 33510 of $61,393 this month, which that was good. We'll continue. We did have a boost in our city courts and fines, which we had 3 bills that were not, that Diane found that were not billed out in the previous 2 months, which she got collected on those, which bumped those numbers a little bit. Overall, we brought in, for the year, $3,726,311, which is right at $200,000 less than what we thought we would bring in at this time. And of course, the majority of that is sales tax, and then a little of it is property tax. We've got some other things, nitpicky things that you can look at, but those are the main 2 areas. And then I'm still expecting about a $50,000 injection from the minimum business tax, which I was talking to Brandy yesterday. We had a workshop in Goodlettsville, and she seems to think it's going to come in late April, early May, which I've talked to MTAST. I've gone on the state website, looked at their graphs, looked at this, and I've been going. It could come in any time after the first of the year. Is what I've been told. So I'm waiting for it to hit, and I'm going to be so glad to know what to look for next year. The rest of these, I feel like we will have a very, very good handle on going into this budget year. As far as expenses for the month, we had $394,881. The main reason we went over $41,874, the main reason was we had our property and liability insurance premiums in the previous month, and they came due this month. So it was just a timing issue. Year-to-date on expenditures, we're under projections, $87,263. So if you combine where we thought we'd be with revenues and expenditures, we're $110,523 behind projections.
But we're $100,000 to the good, revenue over expenses.
Yes, for the first time, we are in the surplus in revenue over expenses.
101,602.
Yes. Yep. $3,726,311. I brought in $3,624,709 spent, which that is good. So all in all, I mean, we're pretty close to where we thought we'd be. We're just the big question mark is going to be rooftops. How much can they do? Some areas we're looking at as far as increases is working with the county, ours in revenue, working with the county as far as getting some of our, for lack of a better collaboration, working together.
Hopefully getting our interlocal agreement back.
Yeah, interlocal agreement back, and then also looking at the census, looking at several ways to increase revenue. We've also looking at ways to decrease, as y'all all know, as far as we're looking at debt restructuring. Also looking at, Donna brought up something today or that we were talking about that, I had not looked at, but worst case scenario, we could possibly slide some salaries short term into state street aid. We're just looking at any kind of options to balance out and get revenue. Also the sale of assets. As we get through, it's really going to crank up this next, starting, I guess, the next 2 weeks, really start going hard and heavy with this next year's budget. I should, by next week, into next week, have the sales tax numbers in for December. So hopefully we will have a pretty good idea of at least where we are through, and we can take those numbers and then use last year's numbers to spread out where we think we'll be.
Any questions?
As far as business tax that you were talking about, that you're hoping to get a pretty good sum in, there's no way to project that or no way to see what that figure might be.
We projected right around $50,000 for the year, and it's come in very, very small amounts, and we're anticipating a big lump sum somewhere in the $40,000 to $50,000 range in 1 month.
While we're discussing where we're at, I have my projections for the rest of the year. somewhat based on what we've done so far. And everybody in the city has done a fantastic job of holding down expenses. We look like we're gonna come within $5,000 to $10,000 of not spending any more than we're bringing in, which is great compared to prior years. The only problem is we have spent money in the unassigned category, which is our operating expense, from the other funds. So that when we started out the year with a negative 161,316, and my projections have us ending the year with a negative 414,119. So we actually spent $252,800, assuming all this comes in, you know. It could be off 50 to 100,000. At the end of the year, we've spent $252,000 more in operating expenses than we had coming in. So if we take out the three categories that are in the operating account, the checking account itself is the unassigned street aid and school facilities, and if we take out the street aid, like we said we would on our stabilization plan, that's not going to leave very much money in the account at the end of the year. So I feel like it's, I don't really know how to go about this. That we need to have a meeting at some point soon with the board or have us provide information to you. I don't know how you think we should proceed.
Are you asking me?
Uh-huh.
I think we should, as soon after the March dollars come in, which should be within 2 weeks for sure, and we know what the assessment is, I think we need to set up a workshop with the board and the finance committee, and we need to make a presentation at that workshop so the board can then take whatever actions necessary.
Okay.
So I would say we probably need to have, I wouldn't want us to go more than a couple weeks into April. I'm not sure, we don't want to set up a meeting, a special meeting for us before our normally scheduled meeting. Because I think that if we're going to if the board's going to mandate something, then they're going to have to mandate it in April, the first meeting in April, or it's not going to make any difference. That's, you know, the later we wait, the later. So I think that looking at a calendar, I would suggest, Donna, that we need to meet whenever Tom feels comfortable that he would have that, those numbers, maybe Thursday, March the 26th.
Or Tuesday the 31st.
Well,
I can have a lot of them in. I won't have 100% everything in, like interest and all that, but I can have probably 95% of the revenue.
I think if we got together on Thursday, March 26th, look at the numbers and planned on maybe having to, I know we came up with that laundry list before, but I mean, really looking at it with, coming up with some options for the board. I think their expectation of us is that we don't just tell them, frame the problem, we frame the problem with
Solutions.
solutions. So I think Thursday, March 26th looks good for me, if it works for y'all. I mean,
We have a codes review committee, but they can do it in the conference room.
or we could meet in the
We can handle that, and Frank can handle the codes review. I don't have to be involved in that.
But I think that's when we really take the numbers and we assume that there will be no further windfall. In fact, if you statistically you look, April, May, and June are fairly flat every year. So we could use last year's data for April, May, and June, and be relatively comfortable that is what our revenue's gonna be, you know. The more, I think there's, we're gonna have to do something, but I don't wanna overreact. But that would be my input to us, is that we get that together on March 26th. And just, you know, a special meeting for us, and we look at the numbers as of that and be prepared to, present those numbers and ask for a workshop with the board real quickly. So,
Okay,
that's what I think.
sounds good.
So that any actions to be taken could be implemented. Some of them, Mr. Hall could probably implement up front, others, you know, the board might have to take action on.
Do that meeting a little earlier, or you want to do it at 7 o'clock? What's your time?
I like 6.
6, okay. That's a workshop, we can call the time what we want.
So that would be my recommendation to us.
Okay,
We do a workshop on Thursday the 6th, March 26th, and then present to the board the first meeting in April. To frame the problem or frame the situation, and then what actions we would recommend the board, or, if it's something the city manager can do and Wayne wants to do it, once we leave on the 26th, he can just implement it, but Tom can implement that. I think that's gonna be the last, as I've looked at it, and I think your data probably shows the exact same thing. That's gonna be the last windfall we can hope for, is what comes in March. The April checks, the May checks, and the June checks are fairly flat. We might get a little increase, but not enough to plan on.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion. But if somebody's got a better idea, I'm good for that too.
So we were having a meeting and a workshop before the April board meeting.
Make a presentation at the first meeting in April, which is what, the 4th, 6th, something like that? It's the following week,
Yeah.
2nd.
Yes.
What is the 2nd?
What's the date?
April 2nd. So
Yeah,
we would
2nd.
have to, we would meet on the 26th, and then between the 26th and then Thursday, April 2nd, we would put it together and get the agenda for the BOC on the April 2nd meeting.
and we would just do it on the regular BOC
Yeah.
meeting?
And then if the BOC wanted to have
A workshop.
a workshop, then we would do it shortly after that, but in between the two meetings.
Okay,
But if the BOC just wanted to adopt whatever our suggestions were, then we wouldn't have to do that.
okay,
That's what I see. But it doesn't bother me if they want to come, but the first meeting, I kind of feel like they're looking for us to not only frame the issues, but frame some solutions. Doing it all year long.
okay.
Looks good to me.
So we're gonna March 26th at 6.
How long do you think 6 will be good enough for the workshop? You think we ought to go earlier than that?
I'm on that Thursday, I have nothing. So I have a doctor's appointment at 7 a.m. I don't want to start at 7 a.m.
Well, I mean
Actually,
on
I
the
do,
second,
because
on the before the board meeting, when we're presenting it.
No, we're just gonna present it to the board. We're not gonna have a meeting before that.
Oh, we're gonna present it during the meeting.
During the meeting on the 2nd, and then if the board wants to have the workshop, or if we come up with a solution to the problem and they accept the solution, then we don't have, I mean, there's no need to have a workshop. If they want to have a workshop and we've got lots of different alternatives to flesh out the alternatives, then we can do that between the two meetings, second and the whatever.
Okay.
After that. That would be my, because the weeks are so close together.
Right.
You know, I don't see us, I don't. What do you think, Wayne?
I'm good with it. I think that's the way it should be. About 2 weeks behind where, whether it's going
I think this is just my experience, which is limited. Just based on some of the kickback I've seen, that it might be good that some of the other commissioners hear some of this before it's thrown at them at a meeting setting. That's just my opinion. I don't know if, it may be okay just to email them what's coming, and that may be good enough. And I don't know.
Well, we do have, if we met on the 26th, we do have the following, Tuesday, the 31st, to have the workshop with the board.
I think it might be
And
a
then-
courtesy,
And
but
then we can take action on the regular meeting. I mean,
second.
on the second. That's fine too, if you feel that, that's a better course, Tom, I'm okay with that too.
I don't know,
31st either, so I can be where you want me to be.
You could just poll them after tonight's meeting and tell them we're going to be meeting and
no, then
discussing.
that'll open a whole can of worms that I don't even want to go down not yet.
So we have to move fairly quickly to announce those workshops, that's,
Right. We can go ahead and,
I think if you called it, they'll come.
right.
Or at least enough of them will come that by the meeting on Thursday. So just announce 2 workshops. The Finance Committee will be having a workshop on the 26th, and then on March 31st, Tuesday at 6 o'clock, have a joint workshop to provide, to discuss the financial situation with the Board of Commissioners. And then on the actual agenda on April the 2nd, we'll say discuss and/or take final action. Or discuss and/or take action on city financial situation. So we really take care of it there in the course of about a week. But
Right.
then everybody knows what to do the last 3 months, which is, I think, is real important. I think
Right.
what y'all are, from what I can tell and what I've seen, extrapolating my numbers from off the state, we are running, I think we will be fine in terms of spending less money than what we budgeted. I think our revenues are going to exceed our expenses. But I don't know where we're going to get that money we intended to pull out of the street. But that's the one that I just don't think we're going to have. But the more I've looked into it, the more I think that at some point in time, considering borrowing the equity on this building and just setting it all right, and then on a cash basis from that point on, we don't buy it unless we have it in the bank, has some merit to it. So that's not a decision that we can make as a finance committee. That's something that'll have to be discussed. But that would be a lot easier to swallow than that $30,000 a month next year's going to swallow. We set ourselves up for, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's going to be
We need to
tough.
do that.
Yeah.
That's the budget talks for next year, but we got to make sure we're going to balance at the end of this year.
Right.
Okay, So we have a special meeting of this committee on the 26th at 6 o'clock. Board of Commissioners workshop on the 31st at 6, 7,
6.
6.
6.
Workshops at 6.
And then a formal presentation to the Board of Commissioners on the 2nd in their regular scheduled meeting. Is there any other new business?
I think that's kind of where we are. I mean, we've gone over a lot of information this year, and until we have the finite numbers on how much the health insurance premiums are going to be, how much things are going to be exactly, we're kind of where we are.
Well, I got some good news for some of the table. Mail from somebody named Karen Eek that tells me it's not too late to fight hair loss. So
Actually,
the budget may be
I
going.
need to do that too.
The budget may be going, down the tubes, but this person is positive that it's not too late to fight hair loss. How these people get, I mean, this is a city phone, I don't even use it for personal stuff. How did they get this number? I'm sorry, I
That's
just thought
okay.
y'all
We
would like-
needed a little levity.
Well, I thought everybody would like to be optimistic on that, we may not have enough money, but it's not too late to fix our hair loss problem.
Yeah, well, it may be, I don't know.
So do we have any citizens who would like to speak? Speak.
Only thing I have to say is, I'm not sure y'all have a forum unless Wayne knows. So y'all need to maybe consider, either adding somebody, because I don't think Tom, I know Susan can't vote, and I know Wayne, even though I don't know if y'all took a vote or not tonight, but you may consider adding somebody else to your committee, because I don't know how, that would work.
Well, thank you, Mayor. That probably is a good idea. Brian gets hung up a lot.
Well, and if that's the case, maybe we need to look at, that too. I mean, maybe we should, well, I mean, I don't even know if you would want to replace them. I mean, obviously we want Wayne here, but, I just think that, I don't know that it was designed for, the city manager. Tom can't have a vote, why does the city manager?
As far as I know, I have a vote on this committee, yes.
Okay, well, just give me a copy of the, bylaws again for I can review and give it the minutes and then.
Yeah, we don't have any bylaws.
Sorry for interrupting.
We don't have any bylaws whatsoever.
Well, it was decided in the meeting, so Wayne, if y'all can get Brandy to look up, when we reviewed,
It was in that packet that I distributed at the workshop about each of the
okay, so
meetings.
there is something written.
It's in
Yes.
the minutes meetings where it's set up, this committee is in that packet.
Okay.
So if you just refer to that, then
Okay.
you already
Well,
have it.
I didn't get a copy of that, it was never sent. And then I gave my copy, so just get me a copy later to whoever I was sharing with at the end. of them.
Okay. Any other comments? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Anybody that can vote?
Okay. Do you,
Well, if we didn't have if they couldn't vote, we didn't have a quorum.
This is true.
And so everything we did doesn't matter.